This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath here with bike-RUsh+ownz as the red GDI on the right side of Tournament Rift, and it is going to be Technique as the green-black hand on the left side. So I guess these players are going to be looking to just do something a little bit different, and I don't know how many of these games I'm going to upload, so if I uploaded a previous game with bike-RUsh and Technique, you will know that they both played random, or at least I think I said that, but instead this time they both did choose their factions, so instead of leaving things up to chance, actually I think they both played random, but instead of leaving things up to chance, at least bike-RUsh will be choosing his own faction, and he's choosing to play just as regular GDI, and of course Technique going with that black hand, and so this is going to be a pretty awesome match, I would hope, but I cannot guarantee, of course, and he's instead going to be going for a sniper team, so just that early sniping to try and even the odds versus those Confessor squads, because it can be so difficult. Look at that, you need 3 squads basically to overpower that Confessor Cabal squad. You can do it with 2 if you get the fire off first. I do believe you do need 3 to decidedly win, though. Although, no, I think you can do it. I'm pretty sure you can do it with just 2 of those regular GDI squads. And he is going to be grabbing that bottom left sort of, oh goodness, and the massacre will continue with those Confessor Cabal squads almost coming out on top, but actually a veteran rank up going to be happening for bike-RUsh+ownz and another Confessor Cabal squad. But bike-RUsh did grab that single garrisonable structure, which means he will be able to grab one of these Tiberium spikes. And what actually happened to that sniper team, they're going to be heading in for a little bit of scouting. You, of course, do have to worry about bikes, which is actually not happening at all, and actually it is going to be, where's that sniper team? It's over here, actually. Could hop into that building, although that would not be a good idea with that black hand squad there. And did bike-RUsh actually spot that flame tank? So this could be massively devastating to bike-RUsh if Technique is allowed to get away with it. And he is going to be going for bikes after that, so bike-RUsh could be in for a world of hurt, especially if that sniper team did not spot it, although he did spot the sell-off of that operations center, which will tell him something is probably going to be happening, something a little bit wonky. Going to be powering down one of his refineries just to keep production online and those Predator tanks rolling out, but he is going to be moving his MCV before actually going for an extra power plant, which means his harvesters will be stacking a little bit. They won't be able to mine quite or harvest quite as efficiently as he would like them to be. But bike-RUsh does have a slight economic advantage in terms of just those spikes, and the Predator tank is now going to be going down because, uh-oh, what in the world is going to happen to bike-RUsh? He is going to get all of his buildings torched if he does not do something very quickly, and no AP ammo means that this watchtower will not be doing a whole lot. It's almost like just poking someone to death. Well, I mean, you know, I guess you could poke them with, like, a sword, and that wouldn't be too bad. But it's like poking them with a spaghetti noodle. That's exactly what a watchtower machine gun is like. And able to take out one of those refineries and then do some damage to the MCV. Never a good position for you to be in, and even getting that heroic veterancy upgrade. Or I guess not really an upgrade, but that veterancy, the heroic veterancy on that flame tank. Of course, Black Hand do spawn with... I believe it, yeah, veteran, goodness, it is going to be veteran flame tanks, but he might be able to just snipe this Tiberium spike and then possibly just cap one for himself. Bike's going to be heading out of Technique and just now moving his MCV to expand south. bike-RUsh will most likely pack up his MCV and then move it further south to expand to that southern field as well, or try to set up a, no, he's already got 2 refineries there, so he should be just fine. He might be going for some tier 2. Instead, going to be sniping a couple of bikes on the right side. Did trade a pit bull for a bike, which is not really a great scenario for bike-RUsh since he did take that early game damage. And actually, Technique going to be kind of swapping positions in terms of what happened with the last game. bike-RUsh saying, "Go away, I just want to destroy your army. Why are you making it difficult for me?" I believe that was the context of that statement. I may have read a bit too far in between the lines, but it does look like going for an airfield instead and immediately selling it off, which means he wants that cash back. He also wants to go ahead and expand. He is probably going to be going, well, I mean, probably going to be going for Orcas. He could be going for those hammerheads, though. And as just regular GDI, you only get you don't get the fancy Zocom composite armor upgrades, and he is going to be going for those Orcas. And then will he get hard points at some point? Probably, although he is just right now going for those Orcas. And he is going to be expanding down south as well. but that is going to be doing it for bike-RUsh. Technique, on the other hand, going to be just healing up his bikes and then sending out yet another Compressor Cabal squad, which really, you can never have too many scouts unless that's all you're doing. If you're not building any, like, harvesters or refineries and all you're doing is sending out scouting squads, you're probably going to have a bad time, just because that's how you lose games, and most people don't enjoy losing. But Predator tanks moving out in very small numbers, which means they could very easily get overwhelmed by those bikes. Out of technique, and yes, they do. They get a free kill, and nearly, yes, 2 free kills. So bike-RUsh not paying attention at all. He's probably worried more about what's happening up here. He will be able to snipe this flame tank with very little problems, and it is going to be that heroic flame tank. Does get a couple of shots off there of that fire just on those pit bulls, and the bikes are now going to be here. So will they be able to save that flame tank? Most likely not, because bike-RUsh is going to be getting a veteran flame tank and taking it out. So technique, for just a moment, he did have a fully epic flame tank running around the battlefield, and it was for about a second, and then it just totally died. But he should be able to take out these remaining... No, he won't. He won't be able to take out those remaining pit bulls because he just stopped on that rock. And instead is like, oh, hey, I have a lot of orcas to deal with, and by a lot, I do, of course, mean just 2. But bike-RUsh going to be going for no more orcas, instead trying to get his economy back online after taking a little bit of early game damage from Technique. Technique most likely just going to be building some more units, and he did lose probably 1 harvester and a little bit more, although it's possible that they did only get a couple of shots off on that harvester, and going for another orca just to try and continue that orca harvester harassment is what I'm trying to say, but an orchestral harassment would be pretty awesome as well. You just play violin music at, well, I guess you'd need more than just a violin for it to be an orchestra, at harvesters, and they explode, which I would love to see. If Lindsay Stomp wants to do that and just play violin at cars and have them explode, I think that would be pretty cool. Instead, bike-RUsh going to be taking some more economic damage, but he should be able to chase Technique away, and actually Technique is just going to be chilling in this corner while the rest of his units down here do some more damage. bike-RUsh able to completely clean up Technique's attacks with very little problems, and he is going to be most likely swinging back around, but no, just kidding, because Technique has 1.5 billion. Rocket squad's going to be moving out. Not a whole lot of Confessor squads. He does have a couple of mixed in there. And is he going to be going no tier 3 just yet, which means no charged particle beams? So Orca's going to be hunting those harvesters, which is of course very beneficial. That Black Hand does not have that stealth at all on their harvesters. And he is going to be sniping just that 1 harvester, and he will possibly get a second harvester. Yes, he does manage to get a second harvester, and then he should be able to escape on out of there. But the thing about just going mass amounts of missile squads, which isn't as much of a problem because you do have those Confessor or those Black Hand Disciple upgrade thingy where you do get the Black Disciples leading your rocket squads, which basically means that they're anti-vehicle and they're anti-infantry. They're basically anti-everything. They do pretty good versus air, do pretty good versus buildings, do pretty good versus vehicles, and do pretty good versus infantry. So there isn't a whole lot left in the game that isn't a building, vehicle, air, or infantry, but whatever it is, you can do pretty good against it, and bike-RUsh could be taking some serious damage, especially if he doesn't... Oh, and no, look at that, no AP ammo. That is going to be bad news bears for bike-RUsh, but he does have the slingshot out, and it does nothing. It goes down nearly instantly. bike-RUsh, can he actually hold off this attack out of Technique, lagging the game just a little bit? bike-RUsh going to be sniping APC after APC. Even the Watchtower is not going to be enough to stop it. If he can get the crushes with the slingshot, he might be able to hold on here. Will he be able to do it? Yes, he crushes quite a few infantry there, but not enough to do enough damage to stop Technique's man spam push that's just going to be owning this war factory. The laser fencing does go down. I don't know if that bugged out or not. Another slingshot heads on out, able to crush a couple of infantry, but Technique micromanaging well enough to snipe those slingshots before they do too much damage. AP ammo is now down, which will significantly increase the damage output of bike-RUsh+ownz. He will be able to do some serious damage, and this harvester will get focused down, but will this one over here get focused down before it does any running over? Technique trying to micro his forces away, but bike-RUsh will get a couple of crushes there and a couple of free kills for Technique, essentially, as he's basically swamping this southern expansion for bike-RUsh, and with half a Tiberium field left, that is not what you want to see, and the APC does in fact go down there. but the Rifleman squad trying to escape out of that barracks, and bike-RUsh not too happy with GDI, although I'm sure Technique is very happy with GDI. He does have a fully epic militant rocket squad there, and it will have completely full health, and that is going to be a GG well played out of bike-RUsh. So bike-RUsh going to be losing this game, but playing very well nonetheless, and Technique just managed to beat him, and as you can see, just in that units graph, just a huge spike in units out of Technique, so well done to him. And let's take a quick look at that resource graph, much closer than some of those previous games that we've seen. Technique able to stay ahead in the end, though, with those expansions, and doing that damage to bike-RUsh. But bike-RUsh going to be, of course, losing that economy game, and Technique, he was Blackhand, so that totally explains why he has such a massive unit kill-to-death ratio discrepancy versus bike-RUsh. But that will do it for this game. I hope you enjoyed it. More livecast games to continue, possibly, I don't know. This is going to be Sybert, signing out.